Welcome to Five Stripe Weekly. Atlanta United finally broke its road duck with a victory against Portland this past weekend. Can they continue their momentum and beat that team from Florida on Friday? We discuss all that and more next.
Welcome to the show, Five Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube or hop over from Facebook and subscribe. With a beautifully reminiscent scoreline of a glorious moment from the past against this very same opponent, we vaulted into first and we've exercised some demons in the process on the road. So it's pretty damn good. But I think for most people, did they stay up? Did you watch this?
Yes, it was a very, very late night out west. But if you stayed up, you saw a very good game, especially if you were a neutral, but even better if you were an Atlanta United fan because, that 2-0 scoreline against Portland, it was nice. It was very tasty because, like you said, Atlanta United, we've been absolutely hopeless on the road this season. We've lost 6 previous games on the road.
In a row. And,
got housed by Chicago, lost a frustrating game in Seattle, frustrating game in LA, frustrating game in Toronto. And finally, boom, here we are. Not only was it a win, it was a clean sheet on the road, and George Joseph extended his streak. I mean, it was everything you could want in a game.
Right, and a defender scored, and Joseph scored, also reminiscent of that glorious
that
moment.
did happen in that thing.
Beautiful.
That was nice,
Just really, really nice for it to just kind of have parallels.
Off of a set piece for the defender as well.
Exactly.
So it's, pretty much the same. It's incredible. And Joseph scored on the right side. It was on the right side of the goal. It was a lot of the same.
Maybe we're grasping a little bit with some of that.
Point is, we won again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on the road like this, I think it kind of stakes a marker down that a team that was on a surge, especially one that is playing really well at home. We
haven't lost since LAFC.
Exactly, and against LAFC, that's a tough team that they played. That's that type of thing where we have, I think, really done something that can kind of get us to an upward trajectory that we want to be going in the business end of the season for sure. So, let's get into kind of the kind of timeline of the match first then. But we scored pretty early. LGP gets on the end of some bundling after PT cross. That was brilliant, actually.
Great ball in.
Because it had some great dip low, and then Joseph Martinez with a quick strike that gets it gets parried, and then the defender he just really poorly tries to get it out, and LGP bundles it home. Well, kind of blasts it home.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of a poacher's instinct when straight to me is like, I got this. Yeah,
with his left foot even, and proving more so even that he's always been pretty ambidextrous. It's a beautiful moment on the road because we've been kind of susceptible to shipping goals really early. If we do this, it really, I think, shows kind of the fortitude early that we're trying to be urgent. We're trying to be resolute at the back. Although there was an early chance for Portland again. It's one of those where, man, I think it flashed all the way through the 6 onto the back post, and I think, what was it? Fernandez, misses it.
He plays it straight over the crossbar. And then they had another one that did hit the back of the net, but was ruled off for offside.
Yeah.
But on the whole, Atlanta United came out of the blocks really quickly, and it's something that's been reminiscent of how they've been playing in their recent run of form. They're pressing high up the pitch. They're playing very aggressive. They're getting the ball in and around the box very quickly. You see defenders bombing forward. Everyone's getting involved. It's very swashbuckling. It's the type of football that Atlanta United fans have been craving for, and now that they have it. But the thing is that it does leave you a bit susceptible to the counter, especially against teams that thrive against space. And that's something that Portland's been very good at this season. But despite the chances they created, Atlanta United was still the better team in the first half. And had it not been for some very questionable calls, I think you could say, they could have found themselves even up a man with the penalty in the first half.
Very true.
Atlanta United, played a really good first half and managed to take a 1-0 scoreline at halftime, which is something they have not been doing in away games. They've been conceding right after they score. See LAFC, where you're 1-0 up, and then everything comes crashing down, and you ship 4 in quick succession. So that's a very big sign of improvement from this team, and a sign of maturity and a sign of confidence that I think they have in themselves right now.
Yeah, especially like you were saying, this type of team, Portland Timbers, they thrive on the counterattack. They thrive from being pretty direct when they do attack. And so, there were a lot of chances going back and forth. It really could have been a different scoreline. 2-0, I don't think really did it justice, but we're happy with the
Could have been
result
like
anyway.
5 or something like that.
Yeah, there were so many chances and so many just either offside calls, no calls on penalties, or Barco maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
Probably it's kind of, I think, a combination of rust, a combination of just getting back into match fitness as well. But a little bit of a 2018 Barco reared its head, but I think hopefully he can still kick on and gain more and more confidence that he's getting into these areas. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger earlier, making the decision a little quicker.
Picking out that spot. I think, honestly, if you had one real criticism of this game, is that Atlanta United had multiple chances to really put this game completely to bed. And P.T. Martinez, I'm waiting for the day that he bangs one of those cutbacks top bins, kind of like he did against Orlando. Funny enough, we'll talk about them later. But he got 2 or 3, especially in the first half, really good cutbacks right to him in space at the top of the 18 that you expect him to just pick out the corner and bury it. And he fluffed his lines a little bit on him. He hit him over.
But he was still magnificent.
Oh, he was. Oh, no. That's the only criticism you could have, because him and Barco have been incredible to play the 3 DPs together. Who would have thought having your 3 most attacking creative players yields the most attacking results? But if you had one criticism, that if you could say this team could really start dominating teams and putting teams away and putting them to the sword and having LAFC style score lines, is if Barco and PT can start finishing with a little bit of consistency to take that load off Joseph. I mean, Barco had that opportunity where he's one-on-one with the keeper and hits it right at him. If you can take 2 or 3 of those chances a game, it really takes the load off of Joseph, and now you're 3, 4, 5 goals of the good at times, and you're really burying teams and saying, we're here, we mean business. That's the only thing you could say, though, because aside from that, incredible performance from the team all around, especially after Wednesday.
Yeah, especially after Wednesday. Also without Franco Escobar, also without Eric Remedi, 2 very key cogs in this starting 11, and Larry steps in. Really doesn't lose a beat. Pretty fantastic performance from Larry for sure. Florentin Pogba, pretty solid, although has his moments. Really smooth on the ball always, I feel like. But there was that I think back post run where he was not anywhere in the picture.
He was ball watching. At the very beginning, he was ball watching, and it was not the one. But aside from that, Florentin, he's dominant in the air, like he said, always silky on the ball. And
also happy birthday to Big Flo.
Happy birthday to Big Flo.
We're filming on his birthday.
And his twin brother Matthias. It's kind of hard because you keep saying it over and over again throughout the season, but Miles Robinson, again, fantastic. He had one moment where he got beat, but aside from that, again, proving that he's one of the best center backs in the league.
Exactly. And him in that spot allows us to be able to be so swashbuckling. It allows us to pretty much have almost some of our defenders really pushed up as well and trying to get in the attack. And so that's the beautiful thing, is he's that guy that one-on-one you can rely on. And LGP and Big Flo aren't too bad either in that regard. So it's really knocking on the door of probably some U.S. men's national team.
Probably should already be there, but it's the U.S. men's national team.
So and Gressel, also immense.
Worked himself into the ground again.
But that pass, that through ball to Joseph Martinez, just put on a dime, on a plate.
Was that pass of the season for you? Like assist of the season? When you think about it?
Pretty damn close, because it's on the floor.
Yeah.
It's just like pinpoint. Oh
just
my God.
Through like 5 people. That's the type of pass that you see some of the best playmakers in the world make, where they just slice through an entire team and take 4 or 5 guys out of the play, and it's just like, what just happened?
And Joseph somehow stays on, and then just puts it like
perfect.
Bends that
the
ball.
The keeper's just standing at the edge of his stick, just like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then boom, just like that, it's 2-0. And I think from that point, I felt pretty dang good about how that game was going, because yes, Portland were creating, but I didn't feel that if they did create, Atlanta United was going to match right back with them. But I think
2-0, we were fairly confident that we had put the game away, really.
I think something that's really interesting that I was actually talking with my dad about that's been important with how this team has improved is that at the beginning of the season, it was taking 3, 4, 5 passes sometimes to move the ball across the field. now this team playing this formation with the confidence these guys have, they're able to switch the ball really quickly. LGP is able to switch it across the field. Pog was able to do it. Even Miles Robinson, who's improved leaps and bounds on the ball. Julian Gruss was showing a improved ability on the ball with his crossing and his passing. Because of that, they're able to take players out of the game by playing these more high-risk but accurate balls that you don't see a lot of teams in MLS playing.
Right.
And with the ability and the confidence of the center backs to take people on, especially teams that press, when you get past that first line, now Atlanta United has options in front of it, which is why you're seeing them thrive so much. So this team has really come leaps and bounds from where it was at the beginning of the season. And to go and get a victory like this, it's like you said, it is a statement win off the back of 2 statement wins, and puts on a marker saying, hey, we're here, let's do this thing.
Very true, very true. I think more plaudits need to be kind of given out. I think Darlington Nagbe.
Again.
Yes, God, dude, I need to gush about this guy just because, I mean, at one point, I mean, he tracks back, he, wins a ball in the corner, really probably should have earned probably a yellow or red.
He passes it around the guy, makes him out to be a mug, and then the guy tackles him from behind.
Doesn't
no
get the
yellow.
ball. Yeah.
No yellow.
Nothing, really,
Standard.
no call. But really, I mean, he just bossed pretty much as he always does. But I mean, yeah, I think between this match and Club America, I mean, just 2 really standout performances from Darlington Nagbe when, I mean, he's been doing this all season, but I think even more so in this match.
He's hit another level of just him.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the sexy assist or goal number in these matches, but it's just that the team ticks through him, and that's the beautiful part. And another guy that has to deserve some more plaudits as well is Brad Guzan for a few saves, but that save probably goal of the season save of the season because it was pretty much from point blank bullet header with his left paw to have that strong of a hand. And
he said no.
Yeah, he said no, like the Kembe Mutombo. I mean, damn, it's just he kept us in the match for sure, and yeah, it changed the tide. I mean, I'm sure when a goalkeeper stands on his head, yeah, you kind of get that incredulous feeling like, are we ever going to score? And I think that probably aided us.
They had to knee him in the head a couple times, hoping that would change
also
things,
as well.
and it didn't. It didn't change anything.
It didn't. No, not at all. But yeah, so and in terms of that, also great to see Tito Fischalba get back on the pitch after 3 long months. Fucking Kemar Lawrence, but
yeah, it's just I think I was reading that Felipe Cardina said that his knee had still been flaring up a little bit, and so that's why he didn't come on earlier, because I know that I wasn't the only one that was begging for his introduction maybe 10-15 minutes or before the end of the match because of how stretched it was. A fully fit Tito comes on earlier, I think, and would have possibly gotten a goal because he would have been a nightmare for a team. But again, that's another player coming back from injury. Atlanta United has gone away from home and managed to get a victory against one of the best teams in MLS on form, especially at home. Obviously, they're not, in terms of the table, they're not playing, not great, but they're still really good at home, and get a victory without 3 key players or one coming off the bench like that. So they're showing their strength and depth, and really on just a fantastic march right now. And again, you can't say anything else but well done and a fantastic win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one more thing we do need to say is how bad the ref was again.
Oh,
but it's just, I think, par for the course for MLS, but it is
so weak.
This one particularly.
How did Char even get booked? Because he was kicking the hell out of our players the whole game. Yeah. And it was just like, is he actually ever going to... Nope, another warning, another warning, another warning, and then the penalty call. I mean, I think that the guy got like this much of the ball, like the smallest whisker of it.
But he got a lot of PT Martinez.
But he got a lot of PT Martinez. Yeah. And the fact that it went to VAR, he didn't actually go physically look at it himself. Yeah, I mean, and it was a dogzo. Like, it was... It was a match-defining call, and I think the ref wimped out on it. Again, standard, pro-officiating.
Yep, not big enough for the call, and it is what it is, I think. We're not the only ones to have problems with VAR. I mean, the Prem
could be worse, could be City.
Yeah, man. Whew. But we won't talk about that. But anyway, so let's get on to the match quotes, or the post-match quotes rather, and get into what the people talk about, the coach or the players. And I think Frank de Boer said on the satisfaction of tonight's result that, well, first of all, the result of a win is always satisfying, of course. That's the most important thing. But you look also forward, how you get a win. I think we feel fully deserved to win. Of course, the first half, it could also be 3 for us, but I think the second half, we really have to punish them more. Yeah, I mean, that's good from Frank de Boer that they want more.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, it's and I think it's kind of, he's buying into it as well, where he sees not only there are, I think, clear results from this kind of style of play of the 3-5-2 being more attacking and kind of taking more risks out of the back. So it's I think they're just wanting more and more goals to put the game away instead of playing maybe a little bit more defensively after you get a goal up or 2 goals up. It's still go for it. Still try to put them to the sword, as they say. So
I think it's just this fantastic synergy of kind of his methodology finally being a bit more understood by the team in terms of when the team is in possession, the confidence the team now has that they can go forward and attack, and the understanding of the movements and styles that he wants to have when the team has the ball is kind of coming together. And he's definitely made concessions and allowed, as some would say, take the handbrake off to a degree. Yeah. But I think it is different. And Josh Bagriansky did a fantastic article this past week about how this 3-5-2 is different to that under Tata, and at times how this is almost a 3-4-3, like kind of it was at the beginning of the season, but not the same, because you have Barco, Joseph, and Pitty, all up, and you have those fullbacks pushing forward, but it's a completely different ethos into how the team was playing at the beginning. Right. It's very aggressive.
The attackers are playing much closer together, so they can combine and link up.
And defenders are just going, what's going on? Yeah. But again, it's the aggression, and hearing that Frank de Boer wants more. Like you said, it sounds like he's buying in. And if everything can come together, then maybe this team can really go on and do something special.
Agreed. And what a time to do it is. Right now, everybody was down on us. Everybody thought we were,
Is that Frank de Boer out protests where people were supposed to leave the stadium still happening, I wonder? Or has that just died?
I think that was a meme account to begin with. Who knows? Or a troll account. But who knows? Who knows?
It died.
But anyway, Joseph Martinez also spoke on FS1 after the match.
In English.
In English, a little bit broken, but just still beautiful Joseph language to begin with anyway. But he said, on Julian, that he knows what I want. I know he wants to make that spot in terms of that assist and that play. I mean, it's just like, they had this synergy when they're on the connection, man. It's beautiful.
The cross or the goal against NYCFC. Right? Just...
I think there's 6 goals in their involvement so far this season. That's a ton, actually.
And I mean, how many was there last season out of Gressel's 14 assists? I imagine there's probably a fair few there. Julian Gressel, just like you said, like Joseph said, he just knows where to find that man. And it is yielding some very positive results for Five Stripes fans.
Exactly. And forever may it continue. It's just a matter of, yes, Julian Gressel is at that right wing spot, or right wing back spot. We don't really have a little, a deputy right now, and so that's an issue. I mean, Franco Escobar maybe would be the deputy if he needed a rest, but he is currently injured, so it's gonna be tough. But we'll move on, and we'll hope that he can just power through like he did last year as well. But anyway, let's get into the news then and wrap up that beautiful just 2-0 win from in Portland. But that vaults us, like I said, to first and in the East. And I think with not only a game in hand, we've just kind of, I think, kind of peaking. We're peaking in the right time, I think, to really, I think, do some really good things at this period in time.
Absolutely. You have 8 matches left in the season, like you said. Atlanta United is tied on points with Philadelphia with a game in hand, but the goal difference is better, and that match is happening 2 weeks from now. You have Orlando, then the US Open Cup, then Philadelphia. So by having that game in hand, to a degree, you give yourself a little bit of a cushion, because if you win that game in hand, your goal difference is better. You will still go above them. That being said, you can really do yourself a massive favor by winning in Philadelphia in a couple weeks. But aside from that,
for sure,
the biggest challenger to that spot is still going to be NYCFC, because they still have those games in hand. And you go up to New York in September, that's another massive game there. If they keep on winning, you're going to have to beat them up there, and they're still going to have to drop points. Otherwise, they'll unfortunately finish first. But it's MLS, it's wild. My only concern about the team peaking now is it was kind of the same back in 2017 in that inaugural season when they moved into the bins and they peaked maybe too early and looked really exhausted come the season's end. This team... they need to start maybe getting some wins and being able to start rotating some players in early to get that rest because it's compact, and this is a system that if you're exhausted and you can't win your individual battles, then that can put the team under pressure. But right now, like you said, in first place, who would have thought that back in April when we were sitting at the bottom of the table? But it's a great place to be, that's for sure.
Right. And also to note, the team that we're playing this week as well, they're kind of fighting for that playoff spot as well, so that gap is still, as always, pretty large and always great to see. But anyway, so moving on from that, Jose Martinez is up for the goal of the week, and you guys just do your thing, because I think anytime we're pretty much this season at least. Anyway, last season there might have been a couple of hiccups, but this season I think anytime we've been in there, we win it. So
everyone gets mad about the stuffing of the ballot box, but
stop
nominating us or stop letting us score
I think
goals?
that's what they've been trying to do as well. They put New York Red Bulls as the thumbnail. They put kind of a CAPTCHA type of little robot check thing.
Are
as
you
well.
human?
Yeah, and it's just it's hilarious. They're trying every which way. But I think we just have enough humans that are actually voting, and the other teams just aren't. So,
But that goal of the week is also because he has scored in his 11th straight game, so extending that MLS record that he started against NYCFC. He just likes records, if we're being honest.
That's true.
16 goals in 11 games. He's 3 goals back of Carlos Vela in the Golden Boot. Hopefully he can catch him because, I don't want Carlos Vela anywhere near his record. Or if he does, I hope Joseph breaks his own record. There you go.
Yeah, I think he will. I think even because really there's a few games that if he's on this pace, but it becomes a point where there's an international window, or a break rather, and it's just
Can you not go on that?
Exactly. But anyway, so also an interesting stat to come out of this since switching to the 3-5-2, as Mike Conti notes on Twitter. LA United have gone to win 7 wins with only 1 loss in all competitions during that time span. And 5 clean sheets. They've scored first in all 8 matches. So we're coming out urgent and coming out, really looking to score and not ship goals. With a goal difference of 15, which is essentially our goal difference, currently in the standings. Of course, that's not in all the same competitions, of course. And it's 2 wins and only 1 loss on the road in that time span as well. So, now we're 4 wins we have 4 wins over teams above the playoff line. And that's not including Club America as well. I mean, just really scintillating stuff, I think, from the team. I think
long may it continue.
Yeah, long may it continue. Also, it coincides, of course, I think, a little bit with that, not only the shift in 3-5-2, but the mindset and maybe a little bit of that.
And the players coming back.
Yeah, the players coming back, but the players kind of going to media a little bit, and maybe because Frank de Boer kind of settled that in-house, maybe tried to, at least anyway, now nothing's really coming out. That's really good. I think, maybe it actually had to take that kind of action to kind of wake all of them up, the coaching staff and the players, to be like, okay, all right, we'll zip our mouths and really just start moving forward and really worry about playing well in terms of that and not worrying about anything else in the media. But so also Ezequiel Barco, speaking of international breaks, he makes the Argentina U23s for the September international break, and it's
exciting, but also why?
Yeah, but and so he's pretty much. I think we knew this coming into the season that he would take part in a lot of international, international friendlies and stuff like that, or tournaments.
It's good for his profile and
it's
for
great,
Lanier to hopefully get a bigger price tag when he does move on. But at the same time, it's like, hey, if you could not go right now, that'd be great.
Yeah, but it's for the CONMEBOL pre-Olympic tournament that will be played in January and February of 2020. So yeah, I mean it's a little tune-up for him with the Argentina U23s. But moving on from that, Atlanta United has become the fastest MLS team to reach 50 wins, and that's in the post kind of run-up shootout era, or penalty shootout era.
Old Wild West.
Yeah, that whole thing, but that old chestnut. But yeah.
If you've never seen that, by the way, just go and look at it because it's fantastic watching it. Had that still been the case, I would not be a fan of MLS. It is stupid.
I mean, it's honestly, yeah. I think that was a way for people to, or for MLS to get people to watch the league anyway, as kind of a novelty thing, and also, yeah.
We don't do draws in America. It's still just a whole crazy thing.
Anyway, but back to the topic at hand. 50 wins in this short amount of time is just incredible. I mean, it shows the ambition of the front office and Arthur Blank. It shows the talent that we have, and it shows, not only Tata, but really Frank de Boer as well. I mean, he's picked up a large number of wins already this season. It's kind of just a perpetuation of the great work that this club has done. So, yeah, really kudos to this team and the team that we all celebrate and love. But, yeah, and so moving on to Atlanta United 2.
I actually went to this game.
Yeah.
I actually went to this game.
God.
First time I went to an Atlanta United 2 game. They beat Swope Park Rangers 2-1. It was actually a pretty decent game. George Bello played. I think he ended up playing the whole 90. Brandon Vasquez made a return off the subs bench to get some match fitness. Kevin Kratz made an appearance.
Yeah.
But Jackson Conway bagged his 6th goal of the season. It was a beautiful crossing from the left side. Fantastic finish from him. Brendan Moore saved a penalty. And we also had that great signing own goal, scoring a goal for the Twos to help them get a 2-1 victory, which is nice because, well, they haven't won a lot this season.
That own goal, so clinical. But,
own goal is really just fantastic in front of the net.
Clinical. But I think the standout there is that Kevin Kratz has finally returned to some match action, and I think I saw a highlight there where one of his dead ball deliveries was still on point.
It was a very stark opposite to one of their players, number 85, whose family was sitting actually right down the road. There was a guy that was just giving him crap all game. There's like those videos on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube where it's like, Sunday League football, and the guy's like lining up to take a great free kick and then just like, just shoots off and just into nowhere. Yeah, that happened. It was just like, and you felt bad, but at the same time, it was kind of funny. But then that guy was just getting stick the rest of the game. It was great. But still, Kevin Kratz, that set piece wizard. Good to see him back on the pitch, and hopefully gives some depth in midfield, and maybe he can finally get on the pitch and make some crucial minutes at some point in time for the Five Stripes.
Indeed, especially during that just the latter part of the season. I think it'll be super important to have a guy so good at dead ball situations. It'll be such a weapon. So it'll be lovely to see him back. But guys, that does it for the In the News segment and gets us to buy or sell. And simply, we put up a topic and we say if we buy or sell it. And so first topic is, so Atlanta United will finish first in the Eastern Conference. Buy or sell?
I'm
forcing us to make the call now.
I'm going to buy it because I think that Atlanta United has found a form of confidence that they haven't had. I think that obviously the big issue there is they're going to have to continue winning matches on the road because they have, I believe, 5 matches or 6 matches, 5 matches, 6 matches remaining on the
5 or 6.
5. It's 5 because the home matches are Columbus, San Jose, and New England.
And so it's a majority on the road.
And you have games like NYCFC. You have that team from Florida this week, and you have to go to Philadelphia. So those are all tough games. If you can win 3 out of 5 of those games and win your 3 matches at home, which I think is completely doable, then I think Atlanta United is going to be in prime position to finish first in the East. They have that confidence right now. I think you really saw that coming out of the Club America games. I'm going to buy that Atlanta United finishes first in the East.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I buy it because, that's where my heart is. Yes, I want us to finish it first in the Eastern Conference, of course.
So your heart says buy, but your head says...
My head says, it's tough, man. It's so tough. Because, with Philly and NYCFC, they're both kind of knocking on the door a little bit. But I think, in terms of who I trust, against any sort of competition, still more so, yeah, it's LA United. So I gotta buy it. I buy it with maybe a caveat that, I know how dangerous NYCFC are, and it's just like because of their, just playground rules at home, they're just able to,
Are they ever going to get their own stadium?
Yeah, it's one of those things. So
ever.
Yeah, but anyway, I think I buy it because not only that, I think the big boosts are, with the Club America win. I think if we can win U.S. Open Cup, it really puts kind of our mindset and our confidence into kind of nth degree. They feel like they're high flying. I think that's my caveat is if we can win U.S. Open Cup, then yes, we're finishing first. So next buy or sell item is Darlington Nagbe and Miles Robinson should be called up to the U.S. men's national team.
Buy. 1,000,000% buy. I saw a set. It's been like 500 and something days since Darlington Nagbe's played for the U.S. men's national team. Why?
A bit ridiculous.
Why? You don't have anyone in this country that can do what he does. No one. He's better than Michael Bradley by leaps and bounds. And as far as central defenders go, name me central defenders right now that are better than Miles Robinson on the men's national team, that are consistently performing at a high level, that have all the attributes he has.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's both of them for that. Okay. So Darlington Nagbe, in terms of the whole setup for the U.S. men's national team right now, they're going a little bit more of the youth
Michael
setup.
Bradley played at the Gold Cup.
But they need a leader, so to speak. I know.
He lost to Trinidad. You know who wouldn't have lost to Trinidad? Darlington Nagbe. That's true. Fact.
And then also, Miles Robinson would be part of that youth setup, and that would be, I think, a good thing. And so, Miles Robinson, I buy, should be part of the U.S. men's national team. Darlington Nagbe, he deserves to be, but will he? No, because
the U.S. men's national team is stupid.
Not only that, but I think because, I think they want to get the players that will be playing a part in, the more important competitions that they're wanting to be a part of. And also, it's U.S. men's national team, they don't really know what they're doing.
At the same time, I don't really care because it means they're not playing international football, so they can't get hurt. So I buy that they should, but at the same time, if they don't, I have no problems with it. Because the men's team, they're trash.
Unfortunately.
At least we have the women.
Exactly. We want them to do well though, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, so that does it for buy or sell, and it gets us to the mailbag. And you guys send in these questions through IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But first question comes from It's Rich. Possibilities of bringing back Yamil Assad. It's that question that always comes, and so we just we'll answer it now and again because I think there's a lot of people are still wondering, like, why haven't we brought him back? Okay. The reason why is, he not only would pretty much be on pretty much DP wages, for one. It would take a transfer fee.
No, he doesn't. He's free agent.
No, because he's still, in terms of, he is owned by DC United for his rights.
Yeah.
So we still have to, a little bit, 50,000.
Traded us.
Yeah, exactly, for the... and so, you have that, and then, his wages would be quite high.
For a player who wouldn't start?
Exactly. I mean, in terms of where he would start, don't really know. Maybe left wing back, like Justin Meram, maybe. That could work. But I think you also have to figure that, Justin Meram is kind of...
a Renaissance man?
Yeah, he's a Renaissance man, but also in terms of his contract and all that, like, he's kind of being paid by a couple teams, I feel like, and so it's just a matter of, like, he probably deserves to be paid a little bit more as well. So that type of, the same position, if we persist with the Justin Meram at that position, or George Bello, which I think he would be more so the guy in going forward in the future. Yamil Assad just doesn't have a spot on the team. I mean, he's just a guy that is nostalgia city. We love him to death, but it's just a matter of the logistics just don't work out.
My gut feeling is he's going to Miami.
It could be, yeah.
I think he's going to come back to MLS.
Because he's bored as F,
he's
not doing anything.
As hell. He's quality enough to play in this league. And my gut feeling is Miami. Paul McDonough, familiar with them. You need to fill out an expansion side. You got money. The only way that Yamil Assad would make sense would be next season if the the players union comes to an agreement and like the salary cap kind of goes away, because then you can afford to pay someone and have that depth. But with the current situation, it just doesn't make sense to have him, and you can't pay him, and he'd be great, but also like the depth thing, playing time.
I think also maybe when Wayne Rooney goes to Derby County, then maybe they actually can free up some funds, and then you can bring in a Yamil Assad, and then also probably Lucho Acosta isn't part of that stuff either. Yeah, they need some bodies and guys who can not only are familiar with the system but can play with the players that they already have. Yeah, so that could probably work there, but unfortunately, I don't think he's coming to Atlanta United anytime soon. Next question comes from TJ17550. Between LGP, Miles, Franco, and Flo, is Parky even gonna play anymore? It's one of those things where, basically Parky, he's getting on the latter part of his career, the twilight, if you will, and so
I think the sun is really setting pretty.
Yeah, it's getting kind of low, and so unfortunately, like he played a big part, I think, in the middle of our season and kept us afloat in the back line. But I think if all those guys are healthy, he doesn't really play a huge part. He's more of that veteran presence on the bench and in the locker room, and can come in and spell us if we have some fixture congestion. So,
I'd love to see him and potentially Larry one day if they wanted to. I'd love to see them on staff at the club if that's something they wanted to get into, stay in Atlanta, and maybe get their coaching badges. I think they'd be fantastic. I mean, to be fair, Larry's already a coach to a degree. He looks like a coach. He acts like a coach. He reads a newspaper. Like, he's a very coach-type individual. So I can totally see that happening. But in terms of Parky playing, everything you just said, if they're fit, it's not going to happen.
It's difficult, and I think it would be a mistake if he was being chosen above those guys at the moment.
He's just, on merit and on talent and on everything, he's just not as good as those young guys. Happens.
Yeah, I mean, his talent is now on the twilight of his career. So, next question comes from Nichols Odeon. What's up, Mark? Is Atlanta United the second best team in the league right now?
LOL.
And so, you want to take it or?
Yeah, I think so. I think Atlanta United is absolutely the second best team in the league right now. They are the first team to beat in any current trophy format and a Liga MX team in a final, and they did not take very kindly to that down in Mexico. They were pretty irritated about that whole thing.
So, they were on newsstands. It said first loser for Club America.
Yeah, so they took that pretty seriously, and that was a fantastic result for Atlanta United. They're in hot form right now. They're also the current defending MLS Cup champions, and they're playing in a U.S. Open Cup final. So, they're absolutely the second best team in MLS, and to just dismiss them, I think, would be pretty silly.
Yeah, and in our past 8 games, we're 7 wins and 1 loss.
And that one loss is to LAFC.
Yeah,
who is the best team in MLS right now.
I think that's a pretty consistent period of time. It shows that we've done it not only at home, but against big teams, a little bit away as well. Yeah, I think very much so. So yeah, I agree. Next question comes from Thomas Jeffels 1. If we come up against LAFC in MLS Cup, do you think we could beat them?
I think it would be a very interesting game. I think it would be a lot in terms of the score, like the last game that Atlanta United played with them. Obviously, being on the road, I think it would be very difficult because they're going to win Supporter Shield. To be honest, they're going to set a record points total. That would be difficult, but the confidence in the way that Atlanta United is playing right now, I don't think there would be any fear of them at all, because as far as I'm concerned, LAFC is great. Club America is better. And you beat Club America going toe-to-toe with them. So you have to have that confidence. If you avoid individual mistakes, and I think it's a wide-open game. Obviously, if it was at home, I'd feel a whole lot more confident. But can Atlanta beat them? Absolutely. Would they be favorites? Probably not. But I still feel a whole lot better about them now than I did going into that match last month.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, not only are our pieces coming together a little bit better in terms of our wing-back plays, I think, very, very consistent, and that allows us to maybe pin them back a little bit more if we needed to, but also we have that mentality of, we can play quickly on a counter, in which that's how a team like Portland Timbers gave LAFC so much trouble, and that's
where LAFC is weak.
Exactly.
Because they do push their fullbacks forward. They are very aggressive. They press very high up the pitch, like you saw Atlanta United do against NYCFC. If you can have, like we talked about earlier, if you have players that have the ability to play out of a press, beat a man, dribble past them, pass past them. If you have that confidence and you can break that initial line of pressure, teams like LAFC are in big trouble. The problem is that not a lot of teams in MLS can do that. Not a lot of teams have the ability on the ball or the ability to pass the ball to be able to get past that pressure, which is why LAFC gets so many goals off counter pressing. But if you can do that, or you have an outlet, which is what Galaxy did, they have an outlet in Zlatan. Yep. They can ping it past the press, and now you have guys in one-on-one and running into space. If you can do that, LAFC is very beatable.
Yeah, highly susceptible.
But at the same time, they're still a very, very good team. And I think if we're being honest, I think that's what MLS would want to be the cup final. Is
of
Atlanta
course.
Versus LAFC.
Yeah, it's a high-flying team versus a high-flying team, of course. That's what any neutral probably wants, and yeah, why not? But last question comes from Hype Monster. What would it take for either Tanner, Devin, or Mark to shave their face?
Okay, first off, Devin shaves, and most recently when I saw him, he had shaved, and it's weird when he shaves. He looks a lot younger because he's an old man. It was his birthday. It was his birthday last week, so happy belated birthday to him. I already wished him once, but whatever, he knows it. I'm not gonna shave because I look about 12. I haven't shaved in like 4 years because A, this is all I can grow. B, it takes a little while. And
Captain
see,
Jack.
And see, yeah, it looks like Captain Jack Sparrow. And yeah, like I said, I look about 12. So it's not gonna happen.
Oh, so that means...
Okay, all right, I'll change it to this. If Atlanta United win MLS Cup, I will shave.
Oh, shit.
I will put that down. That's it. If Atlanta win MLS Cup, I'll shave. I have no problem
I was
doing
going to say, like, if we win our version of the treble, then...
Oh, I mean, that too, but like...
All right.
Yeah, if we win MLS Cup... No, MLS Cup,
we'll go with MLS Cup.
MLS Cup by itself. If we win MLS Cup, I will shave.
Perfect.
I have no problem doing that.
We can't speak for Mark or Devin, so...
Devin doesn't care. He'll just shave his beard. He grows it back. Like I said, he's old. He grows the beard quickly.
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus.
Pretty much, and it's just boom, beard back.
Anyway, but that does it for the mailbag and gets us to our Wasteman of the Week.
We'll keep this quick because I kind of already bitched about it earlier, but the ref and VAR again. I mean, honestly, the standard of officiating in MLS is dreadful. If the league ever wants to move forward, this is one of those key pillars that they need to address. Pro needs to train their refs better. Pro needs to pay their refs better because they aren't paid enough and they aren't trained well enough. So honestly, we can't expect much more than what we get.
And frankly, yeah, the abuse that they get is a little bit harsh, but at the end of the day, they're still calamitous.
When you perform like that, like last night, dreadful. On the whole, MLS officials are not great. There's a couple decent ones here and there, but I mean, again, against NYCFC, VAR, what the hell? Should have been another penalty at the end of the game, but it's Jair Marufo. You know he's not going to do that. And VAR, I guess just didn't care because it was the end of the game. Whatever. Point being, it consistently happens. And it's not just Atlanta United. Did you see Wayne Rooney this past weekend? Wayne Rooney was pissed, and he said standard. Every game he expects is going to be shite officiating. And so it's one of those things that the league has to address and has to change because it is going to hold the league back. Because what high-level creative players are going to want to come to the league knowing they're going to get the shit kicked out of them and nothing's going to happen. Yeah. And even if they play well, they're going to get fouled and they're not going to get the calls that they deserve. MLS, do something about it. Pro, do something about it. Otherwise, bring Mike Dean. I said it.
Oh, God. No.
Mike Dean. You won a game with Mike Dean this past weekend.
It doesn't matter.
Mike Dean is better than any MLS ref. And I hate Mike Dean.
It might be a fact, but there's no need to bring him over here.
Do it. Bring Dino. They've already brought John Champion to do the games, to call the games for ESPN. Bring Dino. Do it. I'd love it. It'd be awful. It'd be chaos. It'd be beautiful chaos. And he's a celebrity ref. You know he'd be super hilarious with a lot of his things.
Okay. That's the problem is that, the refs aren't big enough for the moment. This ref, Mike Dean, is the person
absolute legend.
Seeks out the moment. And
he loves the moment. He would have sent that guy off in a heartbeat, and he would have loved to show the red card. It would have been like, yes, red. He wouldn't have even looked at him. He'd have just shown him the red, looked somewhere else, and then given the penalty. You full well know it. It would have been glorious and amazing. He'd probably screw us over at some point in time. I don't care. Bring Dino.
Because, yeah, I think my parallelisms of this, and I mean, of course, this is my biased thinking of that.
He hates Arsenal.
Yeah, he hates Arsenal, and in which case, so I think in turn he would hate Atlanta United, and in terms of Orlando City, they're kind of like the Spurs.
They're not. Don't even give them that. That's an insult to Spurs, and I hate Spurs.
It might be.
Like, Spurs are at least good. They win. Well, they don't win things, but like they try to play for things and win.
If you're a Tottenham fan, I apologize, but
hey, Tottenham, look, I'm not gonna be mad at you. You got a draw against City despite having only 2 shots on target this past weekend, and I am a-okay with that. VAR was great for you guys. Have a nice.
Anyway, let's move on and let's get into the match preview against Trash City. It's Friday, it is 8 p.m., and it's at Exploria Stadium. And it's on big ESPN, so it's one of those marquee matchups that they're trying to, show for rivalry week and whatnot. So, but which
means we have to win.
Yeah, which means, of course, we have to win. But yes, they pretty much they haven't taken a point off of us since 2017. Which
think about that. That 3-3 draw where just got a hat trick. That was the last time they took a point.
Yeah,
that was over 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and there was a little matter of the Open Cup semifinal,
which we
didn't even have Joseph for, and then he trolled them, and then we beat them anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, you got that. I mean, you have to win that game, and on current form, you feel pretty confident going into this thing. But at the same time, you cannot take them for granted, and you cannot be looking past them to that cup final on Tuesday. It's still an important game. It's away from home. You're going to be the favorite. You have to go in, put in a shift, and get a performance and get a result.
Yeah, because it's not only that, because I think, having a good performance and a good result against this team kind of brings that momentum along into Tuesday, and so that's vital. But yeah, on their current form, Orlando in their last 6 have only won 2, drawn 2, and lost 2. So they're very inconsistent.
But they're unbeaten in their last 4. So those 2 losses were at the beginning of that run of form. Right. So they have been playing slightly better. But again, you took care of business with a rotated side against them in the U.S. Open Cup. You have, I imagine the players had today off to do recovery work and everything. It's difficult because you do have that fixture congestion, and it's going to be hostile. They hate us, and understandably so.
Even more so now. Knocked them out.
But again, one of the biggest things that the best teams do is to not look past the smaller sides. And that, Atlanta has to go in, be serious. They'll play a first 11. For me, I think the key is if you can go in and really get some goals and put it in and put that result to bed early, that helps you out a lot come Tuesday. But you have to go in there and take care of business. And again, Atlanta United, they are the better side. You'll go full guns blazing. It won't be like the Open Cup because I think the team will play higher, better, more aggressive because you'll have Joseph Martinez. And we all remember what happened the last time he played in that stadium.
Indeed. But in terms of Orlando City, again, and how they play, they're a team that can shoot from direct free kicks really, really well. They defend set pieces also very well, and they're fairly decent at protecting the lead.
When they have one.
Yeah, of course. But what they're pretty weak at is keeping possession of the ball and defending against attacks down the wings.
Check.
Exactly. So, wing backs, yes, check.
Winning possession high up the pitch.
Exactly.
Yes.
And pretty much having the lion's share of the possession, also check. But and their style, they like to rotate their 11 a lot. So in terms of who they're actually going to start, it could be up in the air a little bit. And they're a team that doesn't really play too aggressive. So
they don't press a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if that's something they try to do to Atlanta United. That could be something that the manager could try to spring a trick on. I think it would be a very silly idea, but I'd fully embrace it.
Yeah, because it would leave an immense amount of space behind them.
I love the immense amount of space.
Beautiful.
That being said, they still have dangerous players.
Yes.
They have Luis Nani. They have Tesho Akindele. He's good. They both have 9 goals this season.
Both have 9 goals, yeah. And then, you also have Chris Miller off of the bench normally, who comes on. And, also with 5 goals and 3 assists, ain't too bad.
This could be the definition of a trap game.
It could be, yeah. If we, because we're riding high off of this run of form. We beat them recently without Joseph Martinez. We come in all confident, and they score an early goal and they wake us up. I think we definitely need to come in really with that same mindset against Portland, except without the early chances.
Yeah, without them giving up early chances.
Yeah, and so hopefully that is the case. But they're also a team that is really good at coming back and getting back into the game. So it's if we get a lead, still, we can't let up. We can't be one of those teams that just kind of, where if we hearken to 2 months ago where we get a little too defensive. So.
And I think that's something that kind of touches on what Frank DeBoer said after the Portland match about being aggressive. And I think that's something that you have to see in this game. Atlanta United will create chances against Orlando, but they have to take them. And it can't just be Joseph Martinez. Right. It has to be Pity. It has to be Barco. It has to be those other players around them that can take chances, because if they can take the chances that are being created, then Atlanta United should absolutely win this game and win it by multiple goals, because you want Joseph to score to keep that streak going, but there's going to be openings, there's going to be those chances to take the lead, and I think you're going to have them probably early because Atlanta United is so aggressive and is playing in a way that's very difficult to stop right now. So that being said, taking the chances is going to be the biggest key for me in this game. Because if you take them, take the chances, take the win, take the goals, take all 3 points onto the Open Cup final.
Yeah, I think a big key for me is how we're dealing with our fatigue levels. I mean, it's really a difficult stretch that we're going through, although 4 days between these 2 matches, although it is a cross-country trip. It is still, I mean, I think the guys who have played a lot recently, I'm looking at you, Julian Gressel, I'm looking at, a little bit on the left wing back side as well, Justin Miriam, although he has been subbed in and out, but it's one of those just kind of...
He looked exhausted.
Yeah, it's a high energy and high usage in terms of our setup position. And so you have to, bomb up and down. It's a lot of energy and a lot of work. So, it's do we rotate a little bit? Like these are big questions on what we will do. Like, do we overlook a little bit and with an eye to Tuesday? And so it's a matter of what Frank DeBoer will do, and we'll try to predict it. But before that, let's get into the injuries for Orlando City and who they have out. Midfielder Christian Higuita is still out with a hamstring injury. John Moutinho, who I'm a little sad that he's not in because he's
had a not great time against Atlanta.
Yeah, it's been actually really fun to play against him. Their left back is out with a hamstring injury as well, and Ruan also has a hamstring injury, another defender. And so
they could use some hamstrings.
Yeah, and so in terms of, they're pretty close to how they usually want to set up anyway, and so I would expect probably their best 11 against us. But for us, Breck of course, is still out, and you have the questionable ones with Eric Remedi and Franco Escobar, which we could definitely really use, I think, in this match. But
aside from that, I mean, you've got Vasquez returning to some action. You have Bella, who's been playing matches for the twos, and you have Kevin Kratz making that appearance for the twos as well. So aside from that, it's
Mikey Ambrose
is in the
was
18.
Yep.
So on the whole, you have a pretty decent bill of health minus those 2 guys that are questionable. So if that comes back, you're back to full fitness and full strength at a time where you really need it. So with all those players available, that gets us into the predicted 11, which is interesting. So let's walk through that. I think both of us have Kuzan and net. Looking at it,
sure.
both of us have the exact same defense.
We have, I think, pretty much the same 11, but so we'll go with, in terms of, that defense, LGP on the right center back side, Robinson in the middle, and Pogba at left center back, which he was, I think he's continually getting more and more minutes. That's great because I think it will, get his match fitness back up. But again, though, why he went down with an injury is because he was played a lot in a small amount of time. So maybe it's this match where maybe we can spell him a little bit, bring on a Parky after the game is put away, hopefully. But getting into the wing backs, I think it's pretty obvious.
Gressel, Justin Miriam. I think Justin Miriam having those 4 days off those 4 days off, I think that he's still going to play, and he's going to be up for this game. He didn't score in the last one, but I know he wants to score, and I would love to see him score there.
Exactly. His revenge tour, I'm still very much for. If he can score and if he can celebrate, oh my God, the banter and the fun times.
Amazing.
Yes. But
middle of the park, Nagby, Lorinowitz. I don't think you really have a choice with Eric Remedi out right now, and Kevin Kratz not
Mo Adams maybe
fit.
could, but I think you need that stability in terms of possession to be able to be metronomic like Larry is.
I think he could be a guy that you'd bring in if you were, without meaning complete disrespect, more worried about a team and you needed a guy to break up play and be more of a destroyer. But I think you're going to have a lot of the ball in this game, and that's not where he excels. So you need a Jeff Lorinowitz who can do the same job in his positioning and sweep things up in tie position to go for you.
And so the front line, Barco in the middle for me, and then PT and Joseph up top. So yeah, I think very similar as we've been playing throughout this. Letting those guys play as close together as possible, link up, create the chances, and hopefully finish them off. But yeah, I mean, that gets us to our score prediction. And what do you think is going to happen, man?
I got 3-1 Atlanta United. I think that Orlando will score, but I think Atlanta United is playing really, really good stuff right now. I think they're confident. I think they're just the better team, and I think they'll go down there, get all 3 points, and get ready for that U.S. Open Cup final on Tuesday.
I dig it. I have it just slightly a little bit 1 goal less at 2-1 with us winning, but I think it will be a little tighter because I think we will maybe sub off some guys to really rest them for that Tuesday match. So it won't be kind of 90 minutes full of just swashbuckling. It will be, guys who are getting back into match fitness maybe at the 65th minute and 75th minute. So a little fewer goals, but still 3 points and getting us to a good momentum, and yeah, may it actually happen. But that gets us to our question of the day.
And it's pretty topical. Should Frank de Boer rotate his side against Orlando City ahead of that U.S. Open Cup final on Tuesday? Get down in the comments below and let us know what you guys have to say.
But guys, that's it for us today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, smash that like button, and share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.